This is Garima, and I'm based in Sydney. I'm a senior project manager with RI, and I work with Woolworths. So Woolworths is our client, and we develop many applications for Woolies, and one of them is Compass. So I'm going to give a brief overview of what Compass is and how Xamarin helped develop Compass and what we use Compass for. Compass and now Cartology also uses Compass. So our team members, so we developed this Compass application along with BITLogix, our team back in Lahore, and we have like great developers over there, and Arshad being one of them who is there with me now. So we're going to share our presentations, and I'm going to represent the business side, that why Compass came into picture, what's the purpose, and Arshad is going to cover the technical side of Compass and Cartology. So I'm just going to share my screen and give you a brief overview of what Compass is, what Woolies uses it for, and how the reps go into Woolworths stores. And it's okay. So hey Akash, so you're gonna share the deck with me, I assume. So thanks for that. So I'll just start sharing my screen and give a brief overview of what Compass is. So I hope you can see my screen now. I'm assuming this. So Compass application was built for Woolworths basically to engage with vendor reps who visit the stores on vendors' behalf. So by vendor, I mean, let's take an example of a company called as Nescafe or Nestle or Coke or Pepsi, whatever. So what happens that when a rep from vendor's company, let's say Nestle, they go to Woolworths store and they have to figure out whether the item on the shelf, let's say that take a very basic example of Nescafe coffee. So if a rep from Nescafe goes to Woolworths stores and they see that Nescafe coffee is not getting sold, or the sale is very less as compared to the previous months or weeks or whatever is the scenario, then our app basically tells them that, this is the problem. You can go to the store and you have to fix this problem. And we also give them a set of reasons that what the problem could be, whether the item is missing on the shelf, or the shelf ticket is missing, or the stock on hand is not there, or the stock is still in transit and it has not reached the store. So there are like n number of reasons why an item is not getting sold in the stores. So Compass helps them in their activities by prioritizing which stores they have to visit. Basically, in our Compass app, we have a heat map where the users can see that which store has the maximum lost sales. Let's say that one of the stores in our local area has lost sale of $1,000, and other store in Sydney in CBD has a lost sales of, let's say, $2,000. Then they can prioritize that which store they want to visit, and they can action upon which store they want to correct the product for. And when in stores, what activities they should do for highest commercial impact or return. Compass app highlights the items that are not getting sold as expected. Reps can physically check the items and fix the issue that is stopping it from getting sold. So as I told you that, there are many items, there are many reasons an item is not getting sold, and Compass can exactly pinpoint what the issue is, and they can then fix that issue and give a reason. And then we send the data to Woolworths every day. Basically, the feed gets sent to Woolworths every night. That this was the problem, rep fixed the problem, and now this is how much you have actually earned by fixing that problem. Reps can access planograms, which is like a blueprint of the store about the location where the item is, to replenish inventory into the store from bulk locations. And Compass has helped Woolworths to fix the problem of lost sales. That in return has saved millions of dollars. So Woolies is really impressed with Compass because it has actually helped save them millions of dollars within first quarter when this app went live 4 years ago. So what Compass provides merchandising teams is near live data, article details, planogram data, Ticket printing is nothing but just the cost you see at a store. Like, let's say coffee is like worth $10, so that ticket, and if it's on sale, let's say 50% off or half price, then it's going to show that price. Display commitments, lost sales, and range not sold alerts. So this is very, very specific to another project called as LSM. And we actually grab that data from LSM and display it on Compass. And then capability to pre-plan store visits, and then take and capture corrective action, because as I told earlier that, the users can actually go to the stores and then actually take the action and correct the item, and then actually tell the reason that why item was not getting sold. Now, how Xamarin helped develop Compass. So basically, before Compass came into picture 4 years ago, Woolworths was using Empower for in-store visits, but that had limited features and UI was not user-friendly. Basically, users could not action at all because the UI was really old and it was not at all user-friendly. Then RI is partnered with Woolworths. So Woolworths came to us and they said that, we would like some user-friendly app, but there was very limited time frame where we had to roll out the app in production within 4 or 5 months. So Woolworths, in collaboration with RI, and then RI along with BITLogix, developed Compass app that received positive feedback from users within like first few weeks of its rollout, and helped Woolworths save millions of dollars. Now the challenge was the limited time frame to roll out the app to production and make it live for mobile and tab for multiple platforms like Android and iOS. So basically, we had to create a multi-platform app. So that's where my Maui or Xamarin came into picture, because we wanted to create an app which can be used across Android, iOS, and tabs. So instead of developing using different technologies for different platforms, we had to choose a technology so that we can deliver it quickly. So our tech leads and our dev team, they suggested that we should go with Xamarin, and that's how it came into picture. And then we started the work using .NET. And some of the features we accomplished using Xamarin were support device location, which is geofencing. So whenever this is actually very important feature for Woolies, because they exactly want to know whether the reps have gone to the stores or not, whether they have actioned a particular alert or not. Because sometimes what rep used to do before using Compass, as I told you that they were using Empower, they would action the alerts from their home. They would actually not go to the store, but they would charge the money from Woolies. But by using Compass, and we are providing geofencing, we are providing the device location, Woolies can actually see the store coordinates, and they can actually pinpoint whether the rep has gone to the store or not, and then pay the money to the rep accordingly. So this is a very useful feature for Woolies, so that they know that the rep is not messing up. They are not lying that they have fixed the problem while they're just sitting at home. So this feature is again used by another project called as Cartology, which I'm gonna cover later. And Compass has a user-friendly UI. So the UI of Compass is really very, very simple. We have made it so user-friendly that if someone would use the app once or twice, they would exactly know what each and every feature in Compass is meant for, and they can easily use it for rest of their visits to the store. So it doesn't require too much KT, just one use, and they would know how they have to use Compass. Support offline capability. Now, there are many stores across Australia that doesn't have very good network. They don't have very good Wi-Fi. So we have to come up with an app which provides offline capability. So what happens that when a user is using Compass, they can download the store, and after downloading that particular store, they can do all their actions offline, even if there is no network at all. And when they go out of the store, or when they go to a place where there is good network, then their data gets synced. So their actions or the alerts they have actioned doesn't get lost. So their work doesn't get lost. So this feature was not there in Empower at all. support heat maps and nearby location. So heat map is something, let's say that one of the store has $1,000 of lost sales, other store has $2,000 of lost sales. So that $2,000 lost sales, that particular store will have a pin which would be red in color. And if there is a store which is like has just $20 of lost sale, it's going to have a green color pin. So that is called as a heat map. Barcode scanning is another feature provided by Compass, where they can just go to the stores and scan the barcodes of any item, and then Compass would return all the information about that item, like what's the price, which aisle that item is in, what's the location of that item, if that item is on promo or not, what is the stock on hand, what is the stock in transit, what is the stock on order. So just by scanning one barcode, they can get all the information about that particular product. Support latest versions of Android and iOS, and then support multiple iterations. So for Compass, we do one release per quarter, and Xamarin really helps us. Now everything is automated, so we can really quickly release Compass every quarter. And sometimes we have done the releases like twice in one quarter. Now, so Compass, we are using Compass for almost 4 years now. But when we started using Compass, within 2 years of using Compass, there is another company called as Cartology. So Cartology is Woolworths subsidiary, and it's an exclusive retail media partner for Woolworths. So they were so impressed with our app, so they wanted to leverage Compass to build a new project. So instead of going to any other third party or developing any other app from scratch, Cartology came to us and said that we want to leverage Compass because there are so many. I'm not sure. So. Okay, so I'm going to continue with Cartology. So Cartology wanted to leverage Compass to optimize the work related to POS material for in-store campaigns. And this solution helped reduce the latency and provide real-time feedback about the issues and problems regarding the POS material, therefore reducing the delay in responding to the issues. And Cartology has a set of tasks for the reps, which is actioned by reps every week, and results are captured and sent to Cartology. Now, how Xamarin helped us for Cartology is that they wanted to support different banners like Supers, Big W, Metro, and New Zealand. So we are live for Supers, and New Zealand also is almost live, and Big W is going live next week. Now, instead of multiple developers, one developer could handle two different operating systems like Android or iOS. And we also started parallel development in Maui. And it supports wide range of devices and platforms. So we support last two versions of iOS and Android and 3 generations of iPad. Now we have testimony from users in Woolworths Stores. So Akash or Arshad, can this be played, please?
focusing on the right story.
Yes, so it was all about Compass. If you have any questions related to business side of Compass, then you can drop me a query. And I'm always here to answer any questions. Akash, if you want to take over the technical part.
Thank you. Thank you, Garima. Bundle of thanks for your efforts. And also, Garima was and is a great bridge between. Should I sit down? Okay, no problem. So, Garima was and is a great bridge between ourselves, company, and a client. Um, let's go on the starting phase of this, how we started this journey, all the achievements presented by the Garima, how did we start it? In 2017, RI tabled a project to BITLogix Private Limited that they want a handheld device application. They want that their field that should have an application that solve their issues. They want have that whenever the field that go into the store, they should have the specific problems in the store, and also they have some capacity to do some intervention, do something about that. So now to understand this, we have to understand the BitLogix Private Limited. BitLogix Private Limited is mostly work with the Microsoft technologies. So at that time in 2017, nobody were working with the mobile application development. I think so. If I remember correctly, there was some app single for I think so Chuktai Lab, which was being developed in Ionic. So whenever this project is stable to ourselves, that it a discussion came through us. How should we do that? We don't have the capacity. We don't have the resources. We don't have the mobile application team. How we are going to do that? So we starting to search how we can do that. So there are if you guys can share the slide, there was some at that time in 2017 there was some framework available to have hybrid application development. So it was one of Ionic. It was based on the web based, and also for Cordova from Adobe, it was also based on the web. So both of these framework were available, but those were available for the Android and iOS, but not for the UWP Windows. And also they were based on the web view. So whenever the app is going to load, it took some time. Although they have all the intents, have all the functionalities, most of to achieve them, but it took some time to load the app, because every time the app was loading, it was running into the web. So in the end, we were having React Native from the Facebook, and the Xamarin from the Microsoft. To understand the React Native, we have to start. We have to, I think, so patch our developers to move on to understand how we can develop, how we can use the React, and also whenever there is complexity, we have to do code in the Swift and all or Objective C or in the Java. As we were working with the Microsoft technologies, so our CTO and CEO present this thing on in front of us, that if we guys want to do this, do they have to hire a new mobile application development team, or if we want to do that. So for the BitLogix is always trying to groom their developers, to groom their knowledge, their personalities. They put a project in front of us. I myself, Arshad, Umair, we were part of the at the starting team, core team of this mobile application development. We started to get the lectures as we were working with the C# technologies. We were having experience with the XAML. We were working with that. Arshad was has a lot of experience with WPF. So we have done some lectures, we tried to do some things, we tried to do some POCs, and we finally find out that Xamarin will be for us, because all the code, whether it is on the Xamarin Forms level, whether it is on the native level, it will be in the C sharp. So we are the C sharp guys, we are working with the Microsoft technologies. As we have the short time of span, we have to deliver this app, and it should provide all the functionalities, all the requirements of the client. So we conclusively we chose Xamarin, that we will be going to do that. We start learning. Now the process is how we are going to, how we should do that. Should we write a code in the background of the page, or we should choose any framework? So it, as Garima shows you guys, that Compass is a big app. It's a handheld device application, not just for the tab devices. It's for the all two platforms, iOS and Android, and also for the mobile and the tabs. So a huge app, and also lots of things will have to do in that app. So we have focused that we can achieve all the things, all the functionalities with the MVVM, so that core logic, business logic should be separate with the UI, and we can use that. Let's say in our development terms, the properties, we can use that in pages different for tabs and the mobile. Now there come a question again, rise a question that how should we do that? How should we achieve the mobile application and tab devices layout? So what the designer proposed, a design to ourselves, that was a totally different design for the tab devices and for different for the mobile devices. Although we have the facility in the Xamarin Forms while working with the 2.5, and again we shift to 3.0, we do have the facility that we can have the code, we can do the code with regards to the platform and also the layouts. But what can we do if totally a different layout will be available for the mobile and totally different for the type devices? Although we can do that. So suppose if we have a 500 line codes of a XAML for the tab device, and same we have a 500 line XAML code for the mobile devices, it will be a single page. It will take too much time to load. Then it will select the device. Then because on initialize it will render the UI. Then after that it will specify that which type of device it is. Then it will render the XAML. So what we thought, that we should go with the different layouts, for different for the tabs and different for the mobile devices. So what we do, we create our navigation system. We check that whenever the mobile devices will be used, our navigation system will redirect the user to the mobile screens, and the tab devices user to the tab. We just do we do partially design the code for iOS. As you guys, you might be working with native technologies or the hybrid technologies, but there are some requirements from the iOS and the Android. You have to set some gaps for the iOS specifically, especially when we have developed the app for the iPhone X devices. We have the notch there, we have to set the gaps. And also in the Android, when they removed the notch, and there were a point. So there were some little differences between Android and iOS, but not major than we were having for the mobile application and tablet. So we choose our navigation system so that we can navigate to the user. The major part of this application was to draw the map pins. So every user which have to travel to the store, he or she can see the pin of the on the map. So at that time, on the 2.5 or a 3.0 Xamarin level, we were not able to draw the circle of the map, especially for the Windows platform. So what we do, we port the Google library. We have to code ourselves. We do that code into the UW platform and render for the Android and the iOS, just to achieve the draw the pin. Nowadays with the 5.0 or a React Native or any platform, it's just a tiny thing. You have to pass the pin, but at that time you have to use that library, and you have to do your code to draw just a circle. I'm sorry, I was having a sore throat. So why then we choose the Syncfusion? Why we choose control suite? We don't have to use that. We don't have to spend the money. For example, now we have used the badge application. We have the badge which shows two, three numbers. At that time in 2.5 or 3.0, we were not able to draw that circle as well. To show the badge, we have to draw three different layouts with the slack layout, with the circle and the frame to border just a single badge. So uh, it was conclusive that we should buy any third party UI control so that everything can be easily happen. But at that time there were also the problem for the list view. Now we can bind any type of a stack, any type of a UI element. We have the binding available for that time. But at that time just the list view, we can use the list view, but we would not able to attach the child parent to child. We were not able to draw that type of a tree at that time. So we have to do ourselves some renders. We were not able to draw a single line below the text box. So we have to write down some renderers to do that. Now there is a property available just to set the borderline of the text box. But at that time we have to write the renders. So that's why we choose a third party control in our searching. Syncfusion was better at that time, and I would say that currently with the Moai, what we are looking in that still they are working well with that. Other than the problems we have with the Xamarin 2.5 and 3.0, there is a larger problem with the biometric. Biometric is a complex thing to achieve in the at that time in Xamarin, because if you are using the biometric in iOS, you will be able at that time to scan the face, also the code, and some devices with the finger scan. But the face scan in Android came later in that. But the major problem with the biometric was held in the Android devices. What was that? Android considered that if you have a finger scan or a face scan, 5 minutes, they are just staring me that khatam kar de bhai. Okay, so if you have a face scan and if you have a finger scan, it will pass you out the data that whether it is authenticated or not. But if you apply the code, the lock code, just the code in your Android device, it will never give you the data. Whenever it will give you the data, you have to create an intent, you have to create the activity, you have to pass that intent to the activity, you have to raise that activity, then it will pass you the result. This was the major problem, and it took some time to understand us that what's happening, why, how we can achieve that. Also, the first level of communication from view model to view model, that if we want to send some data in from view model to view model and decoupled approach from classes to classes, there was the messaging center available at that time to do that. But the problem with the messaging center was a huge that it works on the first time. It is, I think so, it is still open on the Xamarin GitHub platform, that it works on the first time. But after two or three unsubscribation of the messaging center doesn't work. It never worked. This is the reason when we were working with the Compass, we chose the approach of the instance based development. We create instance based MVM, although although theoretically this is not a good approach to have an instance based view model. But to reduce this problem, messaging center problem, we go with that instance based view model. It resolve lots of issues in our app. Although it took some memory, it create the memory, it reside the memory. Sometime we have to set the garbage collector, and also on the iOS side that this memory should not be discarded, because each store in the Compass has almost 8 to 10 MB of a data, a single store which were we downloading and storing in the local DBs. So that's why we use the instance based, or and other problem in we have faced in the Xamarin. Now it has been resolved. That was the web view. iOS render, we have to write a special render just to show a single URL in a view. Now it's now in resolve in the 5.0, but we are trying to um, s- go through that journey, that what the things we faced at that time. So we write down some renders for iOS, especially just to show a single URL, just to show a single google.com. Just therefore. And after that, for push notification, we did some lots of work with the push notification, with the FCM, with the APNS, with the GCM. As we are on the push notification, do you guys have any understanding what is the difference between the data notification and the alert notification? Can anybody tell me? Anybody who is working with the mobile application development, what is the difference between data notification and the alert notification? So for the understanding, data notification always invoke the activity of the mobile app whenever you want to perform any specific interaction from mobile to API or anything, or your local DB or any intent, you have to create a data notification to invoke that activity. It will eventually invoke your mobile application code so that you can process that data. Any type of specific data you want to process for your API, for your local DBs or anything. You let's suppose you want to, that any process that you want, you don't want to show the user, but you want that app should do this. You will send the silent notification. Do you have any type of understanding about the silent notification? It is basically the type of a data notification, but it marks as silent. It invoke your activity in the mobile application, but it will never push into the push notification tray. So whenever you want to try something which user should not be seen, you have to use the silent notification or the data type notification. Also, also there is a limit to send the data notification. In terms of the data, it's the 4 KB. If you want to send the data size can be the 4 KB. You can send the 4 KB data. From 2 days earlier, while 16.0, if you guys have seen the iOS 16.0 launch, or if anybody installed that, iOS launch has the data layout notification type. It's the static notification. It will reside in your phone. Basically, it is designed to show the activity. Let's suppose for the Pakistan instance, we have the Food Panda application, and we can send that notification, activity notification. It will reside till the activity did not completed. So it will show you just the activity. It will on your screen, and it will just show you the activity that user is here, 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 or might be the status. So if you want in the future to complete that, you can use that activity notification for that. And for the end, I would say that MDM we have faced for the mobile device management. What is the mobile device management? If your organization is so big and don't want to use the distribution medium of iOS or Android, they want to distribute, they want to use their local devices, and they want to use specific APKs or IPAs and distribute them through their management. MDM is being used to do that. iOS 14 and below that was not supported to that. We have to do some search, we have to change the binaries of the IPA to distribute that. And also we find out that whenever the MDM was used with the single account, and it can't be used with the multiple accounts, you have to change the IPA for that. I can talk about lots of lots of things regarding we face that. If you guys want to ask anything regarding the hybrid application development, regarding the Xamarin native application development, anything you we are happy to entertain you. We are hope you guys get something from us. We can provide you something. If any question, I'll be happy to entertain you. Sure, Mike. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Some previous slides of some previous speakers, uh, we just saw that support is getting ended in, I guess, 2024 for the
Yeah,
Xamarin.
24.
And since the agenda of this conference is XAMA, UI, or MOI, whatever you ask it, so what is the roadmap that we can take? Because when support will get ended, if there is any vulnerability, support would not be provided for that. So this is a high time that we must see to migrate to the technology that is its alternative.
Okay.
So how do you see this migration happening? Is there any reusability for already
In a conference, there was a question raised how we choose the tech, that how we can do that. Let's example for the BitLogix. As I told that BitLogix was working with Microsoft technologies. They didn't hire new developers. They know that their developers work with the C sharp. They knows their developers who can work with the WPF control. So they understand the XAML. So they understand the C sharp. They don't have to bother that we should hire a new. Why not groom our developers? So if you are working with the Microsoft technologies, and if you understand the mobile application development, I would say that you have to choose other than. There was a problem in Xamarin till 4.8 to understand the UI animation. If you look about the Naveed uh, presentation, he has shown you that you can achieve all the things. You can achieve all the things. For the migration part, I would say, let's for example, I would share my experience from 4.8 to 5.0. It was a hurdle because I've Android X was launched and they have changed all the libraries. Were we not able to do that? No. We just have to look and do that how which libraries should be changed. If you are working with the Xamarin, you don't have any problem with going with the MOI. It's a future. You have all the access of the libraries. All you want to do that you can. Also, it's a misconception. I and Arshad have done some work regarding the games, game layout with the Xamarin. Nobody did that. We use that Coca pot. We use. You have to understand that you can achieve that, but you have to struggle. You have to struggle for it. If you are a C sharp developer, you don't need to go for an. It's a good thing to understand different languages, but if you have a short time of span, you have to complete an mobile application development. You are a C sharp developer. Just go for the MOI. You don't need to work with the Xamarin. Just go for the MOI. It's the same thing. And let's suppose you are working with the Xamarin and you have to shift to the MOI. All the libraries are available. All the packages were mounted to the MOI. You can easily just grab your code, put it there, and move to the MOI. It will run. We have tried that. Compass is a huge application and we are going to move it to the MOI. We are not considering any React Native or Flutter. I don't say that they are a bad one. We don't need to focus on that because we have the capacity to work with that. We are going with the MOI. It's up to you. What resources, what type of resources do you have? You might be working with a Flutter and you think that it is good to go. Okay, good to go. No problem. It's up to you what you choose, what facilitate you, how much time you have, how much resources you have. It's up to you. Choose it, work it, no problem.
because
Thank you very much, guys.
Short
We have
time
short
short,
time.
I'm available here. We are all available here till night. You want to ask anything, I'm happy to guide you. Anything you want to ask. Thank you guys, thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Akash. Thank you, Garima. It's a wonderful talk.
Thank you,
And
everyone. It was great.